Incidentally, we're also grateful that when we see him in a movie that's set in Boston, he gets the accent right. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in offering a warm welcome to a wonderful kid from the neighborhood who's done a good job and truly has goodwill. Matt Damon.
All right. Thank you.
We're lucky to have MIT in Boston, and we're lucky it draws the people that it does, people like you from around the world. I mean, you're working on some crazy stuff in these buildings, stuff that would freak me out if I actually understood it. Theories, models, paradigm shifts. I'm going to tell you about one that's been on my mind. Simulation theory. Most of you probably heard of this. Maybe you even took a class with Max Tegmark. But for the uninitiated, there's a philosopher named Nick Bostrom at Oxford, and he's postulated if there's a truly advanced form of intelligence out there in the universe, it's probably advanced enough to run simulations of entire worlds, maybe trillions of them, maybe even our own. So the basic idea, as I understand it, is that we could be living in a massive simulation run by a far smarter civilization, like a giant computer game, and we don't even know it. And here's the thing. A lot of physicists, a lot of cosmologists, they won't rule it out. I just watched a discussion online a few weeks back. It was moderated by Neil deGrasse Tyson of the Hayden Planetarium, and by and large, the panel couldn't and wouldn't give a definitive answer. Tyson himself put the odds at 50-50. Now, I'm not sure how scientific that was, but it had numbers in it, so I was impressed. But it got me to thinking, what if this, all of this, is a simulation? I mean, it's a crazy idea, but what if it is? And if there are multiple simulations, how come we have to be in the one where Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee for president? Can we, transfer to a different one? Well, Professor Tegmark has an excellent take on all of this. My advice, he said recently, is to go out and do really interesting things so the simulators don't shut you down. Now then again, what if it isn't a simulation? Either way, my answer is the same. Either way, what we do matters. What we do affects the outcome. So either way, MIT, you've got to go out and do really interesting things, important things, inventive things, because this world, real or imagined, this world has some problems that we need you to drop everything and solve. So go ahead, take your pick from the world's worst buffet. Economic inequality, that's a problem. How about the refugee crisis? Massive global insecurity, climate change, pandemics, institutional racism, a pull to nativism, fear-driven brains working overtime. Here in America and in places like Austria, where a far-right candidate nearly won the presidential election for the first time since World War II. Or the Brexit, for God's sakes, that insane idea that the best path for Britain is to cut loose from Europe and drift out to sea. I mean, what is Europe even going to look like in 25 years? And add to that an American political system that's failing. We've got congressmen on a 2-year election cycle who are incentivized to think short-term and simply do not engage with long-term problems. And add to that a media that thrives on scandal and people with their pants down, anything to get you to tune in so they can hawk you products that you don't need. And add to that a banking system that steals people's money. It's all right, I'm not running for office. By the way, while I'm on this, let me just say this to the bankers, specifically the ones who brought you the biggest heist in history. It was theft, and you knew it. It was fraud, and you knew it. And you know what else? We know that you knew it.